Good morning all, CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday morning, August 19th, and we are looking at the last 2 days of the SPY ETF's market profile here on Window Trader. And the theme continues as we continually to grind up, only to flush out as we attempt to get an all-time high in both the daily and the overnight session. Right now my pre-market high is 339.40. My overnight high from back in February is 339.40. You can't get any more mechanical than this market has been for the last 7-8 days. A couple things to talk about this morning. First off, I had somebody ask me, since I've been going over the triple Qs a little bit, and their question was, why would you be just looking for a short play when this has done nothing but grind up? And that's an excellent question, and it's really a simple answer. I am long. I'm not long the triple Qs, but I'm long some of the stocks that have fueled this entire run. So I have not missed the run up. I am just looking for when the NASDAQ and the triple Qs finally decide to go from bull to balance and then to bear, just to capture possibly a downward move. So that's an excellent question. I have been long some of these stocks, so it's not like I've missed it. I just don't trade the triple Qs. I'm just looking for that one opportunity. That's number one. Number two, as we can see in this last 7 days or so, how the market has had no buyers or sellers. We've just gone up with short-term algos pushing it, retail traders push it, and then they flush out. Flush. Look at this. It's a continuing pattern. Now, that's on the intraday, and that's because the market's getting too long on the intraday. However, this market is totally long, and you'll see that on the charts in both the longest term monthly and the weekly, which is one time framing up 7 weeks. The monthly and the weekly, for all intents and purposes, even though they're one time framing up, we're really coming into the top of a balance area, right? February's high is basically a balance area. March's low is the balance low. So we've been one time framing up inside of that huge balance. And obviously we're having trouble getting above and accepted above the all-time high. They are going to need that. If we do not get that, now first is the weekly, which is in balance, and then it's the daily, then it's the weekly. At some point, these flushes that we see, yesterday in B and C, M, these are just short-term intraday longs that are getting out. But at some point, the intermediate time frame, the weekly, if they see any pressure, especially if we stop one time framing up in the weekly, are going to get out. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing which is kind of interesting to me, in the year of gaps, we've had 83 gaps this year. We don't have a downside one yet in August. The least we've ever had was April of 3. We have 5 upside gaps. So I think the odds of that at some point, now that doesn't mean it has to happen, but at some point if we don't get what I'm talking about, you will get a gap down. So I think it's important for the buyers not only to get the all-time high, need acceptance above it, and the only way you're going to get acceptance above it is, I think, to get the next time frame and bigger boys involved. Okay, so you should have, there's only 2 upside destinations, 339.10 and 339. I'm sorry, I apologize. Our overnight high was 339.38, so we have a new one. I thought it was 339.40. So this morning, 339.40 is the new overnight high. I missed that by 2 cents. Downside is 336.61 yesterday's low, 335.62 daily low, 335.43 daily low, 332.01 weekly low, 331.13 daily low, filling the gap at 330.06 from August 5th. And I think it would be healthy at some point to go down there, probably fill that gap, and balance around the 330 level. My pre-market low right now is 338.37. Pre-market high, like I said, is 339.40. So, what's going on this morning? Well, I told you last night we're going to get tremendous chop, most likely inside of M period, as once again, M period the following day or days is so critical, right? Just like yesterday when we flushed, attempted to get into M's range from the 14th. Look at the volume, how it tapered off, rejected, and back up we went. Same scenario this morning. Now, the only thing I really have to lean on is yesterday's high and low because the park wasn't wide enough. There was no afternoon pullback low. There was certainly no single prints. So this is going to be important, and I'm expecting some major chop inside of M. If you get accepted into it, there's a good chance you're going to trade all of it and the whole range of it. So again, it's hard to tell at times acceptance, right? An A period. B period's a lot easier if you start one time framing up or down. A period's a little more difficult. So depending on where we open, right, we still have an hour and 10 minutes. If we open at the top of M and fail, well then at least your risk reward is good. You could take a short. If you come above M, you get out. If not, maybe you ride the whole thing down. Same thing, if it is to open down here, you take a long, you know you're out. Maybe it trades back up. Middle of M's range, I strongly advise you to step away and just watch them battle it out. So that's one plan. If in the next hour we gap high again, then I would take the long and be out at either the day's high or M's high. If in the next hour we open below M's low, then you'll have lower value. I'll take a short play. Out if we get accepted into M. Pretty basic stuff, right? So that's what I would be looking for. We have pretty much of a big void and vacuum in price from the day's low to where we are right now. At some point, these buys, not in the day time frame, but in the weekly time frame, are going to get tired if they don't get what they want. And then in the charts, so again, it's pretty basic. Not only do we need to get over February's high, you need acceptance over February's high. If you don't get acceptance, all you're doing is stretching a 7-month balance a bit. So it's very important if we ever get this overnight high. Basically the same thing in the weekly, right? But the weekly, yes, we are getting distance, and that is healthy. Last week's high is 338.28. You'd like to stay above that, right? But at some point, if we don't get acceptance over this all-time high, this market is totally long, they're going to at least trade sideways and then possibly roll over and take out a bunch of these weekly lows, right? If they don't get some reinforcements to the upside. And same on the daily. The daily, basically this is a balance. You can call it a 5-day balance, right? We had the outside day. We had a chance for an outside day up or down. We had nothing. Remember, so it's a 5-day balance. We had an outside day up yesterday, right? And in fact, let me go back real quickly to the profile. Now, that's generally a positive thing, right? We took out yesterday's high, then we took out, the previous day's high, previous day's low, spent no time down there, and then spent the rest of the day above the previous day's high, except for M when it dipped its toe into it, but we closed above it. That's very positive. Now, are the bulls going to do anything with it? Well, about 20 minutes ago, we were trading above yesterday's high. Now we're smack in the middle of value and balance. So it's still in the bulls' hands to lose. Good luck trading today. Have a great day. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.